Okay, I think everything's set up for the time being. Okay, I gotcha, I gotcha. I can't remember, but I imagined like wrestling would be an Olympic sport at one point, right? Or it's been in the Olympics every now and then, but not a consistent thing, you know. Okay, so we'll get the formalities out of the way. Shout out for Shin. He's one of my moderators, and he helps me out a lot. We talk about mental health every now and then. So, um, and then I guess that's all I want to talk about. Shin. I mean, again, Shin. If you could follow him, that'd be great. I guess I have to take a new picture of him for a more recent one. But I gotcha fire. Also, for shout out for Shrimpy. He helps me out a lot. He's one of my mods. Um, we talk about mental health a little bit, but not too much. But anyway, he's one of my best friends as well. And if you could follow him as well, that'd be great. Um, Other than that, we'll go on to we have two more. If you could like get a gig from or purchase a gig from this artist, that would support them as well, and I'd be appreciative. Again, I don't receive anything from it. I just and it's on a paid advertisement, so I just I just want to in general. So and same thing with her is it's on a paid advertisement. I just like to um, say it in general. If you could help out with her or purchase a gig, she's a really fantastic artist. Uh, and she's done a lot of work for me. She does one of my subscriber panels. So other than that, and I was just going to say, Fire, you don't have to feel obligated to stay at all, because I know the subject matter can be kind of dry. So, but yeah. So, um, here we go. I think one thing to say is, I wanted to talk about, what's it called? Final Fantasy X. It's really important to me. It's one of my favorite games, and it was very in the like culture of like being or it was very important to me because at the time the game was very focused about like swimming and like kind of a little bit about Southeast Asian culture or and Polynesian culture in general because it has like a lot of island nation type stuff. It has like a lot of culture based around water. Um, Thank you, Shin. I don't know if I could see that, and thank you very much for hosting. So, but yeah, I don't know if I ever see it on my ever see it on my what's it called on my phone. So, but thank you very much, Shin. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, because yeah, at the time, and never knew, and I think I asked my brother a couple. Oh my gosh. Thank you very much, Shin. That means a lot to me. I gotta come. I gotta come clean a little bit. I started watching the thing on October 2nd, Shin, and I felt like I had a little bit more anxiety after watching you guys talk for a while. So you know, not to be rude, but I left kind of early. So, but yeah, but I still appreciate that format. Still appreciate that talk show idea, Shin, because um even though I didn't get a benefit out of it, I think you know a lot of other people did. You said there was tons of people, and you got tons of follows as well. So I mean that's not the point, uh, but anyway, thank th- thank you very much, Shin. But yeah, I think you know talking about it is definitely uh because again it's like so much about mental health like yo Shrimpy, thank you for stopping by. A lot of a lot of you know why you know mental health problems persist is because you don't talk about it, and then it gets swept under the rug until you know a major accident happens. So um so yeah, well, the more we talk about mental health and the more that we you know make it more normal, the more it's you know socially accepted, and you know that makes it all worthwhile. Is that you know we can have a conversation about you know um, mental health, and you know people don't leer at you or look at you weird, and you know um, go on from there. Um, so yeah, um, so sorry. Yeah, I had to come clean. Um, but yeah, I asked this about my brother a while ago for Final Fantasy X, and since the culture of the game is so revolved around like swimming and water, and it being like you know not essential for life, but being a big course of or being a big part of life, um, uh, you know I didn't know because my brother used to play water polo, and from that I always wanted to learn how to play water polo or to learn you know competitive swimming. And I tried once in high school, and I was not fit enough, and I pushed myself too hard, and I got a headache. So, um, but yeah, he was my brother, and this game was always an inspiration because not just about swimming, um, but also about like the the fashion associated with the game. Um, because it's like you see in the lower right corner or lower left corner. My bad. Have I been saying lower right corner this whole time? I don't know. In the lower left corner, you see Titus there, and he has like a oh Genshin. Um, I would say it's a. I think it's a cool game. I wanted to do a subject on it, but at the same time, I'm kind of concerned because they've removed like 5 words, and that got me a little bit concerned because they removed like Hong Kong and um some other stuff, and I was just going like, that's bad. Um, but honestly, it's probably just like it's something that they unfortunately the developers either had to do or you know either they didn't want to do, but probably came down on high from the Chinese government. So, um, but anyway, yeah, Genshin Impact looks good. I think I might have a subject on it because, um, if something's like kind of like a generic hack and slash, like you know, a lot of people give guff to you know to Dynasty Warriors, right? But like, it's still it still functions, it still works. It doesn't critically crash or anything like that, you know. And so many people give it guff or boring, but again, it doesn't fail like a lot of other, you know, indie games that have bigger problems, you know. So, but yeah, Genshin Impact looks good, even though there was some recent problems with it. But other than that, it looks cool. I might do a podcast on that. Again, for the 25th one, I definitely want to be the centered around Metroid because Metroid is really special to me. So 25th one is reserved for Metroid, and on 24 we're working on Final Fantasy X right now. So Final Fantasy X is really important to me because again it's okay. Thank you, Fire. I don't know. Uh, See you when you get back. There we go. Final Fantasy X is like fashion wise is like you see there he's kind of wearing overalls, but almost you kind of see the board shorts as well. So that was something like fashion wise that I was so attuned to. Like same thing with my brother, he wore board shorts all the time, and and I mean still does, and I wore board shorts all the time. So that's so much of like an effect a game can have on you or a positive culture can have on you that you know you want to emulate that style so much. And yeah, um going ahead, I love Final Fantasy X, but I don't pretend at all to understand the story. And again, for people that want to play the game, I'm not going to spoil it because I know I swear I said tons of spoiling or like stuff before, but I know this is like really important for if people want to play this for the first time and be, you know, be in awe of what they see. Like same thing with like, you know, Final Fantasy 7. I don't like Final Fantasy 7, but if I were to play it, I don't want to know everything about it. And unfortunately, I kind of know everything about it, not just, you know, from cultural osmosis, but, you know, from Kingdom Hearts as well. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 at the very least have so many Final Fantasy characters slash, you know, um, like other aspects to it. And it's kind of, and I was thinking of having Kingdom Hearts as another subject, but that's dubious right now. But then that's why I think it was a source of frustration slash contention when I think a lot of the Japanese community or the developers they said they wanted Final Fantasy characters for Kingdom Hearts 3, and there's none to be found. So, um, anyway, uh, but yeah, uh, yeah. So I don't understand the story about Final Fantasy X. Again, I know like the general idea about it, but again, I'm still like, um, you know, not to be rude, but I feel like I'll never understand it. But again, the story about the guy on the left and the girl on the right. The guy is called Titus. Um, he's a star player of the Xanarkin Abes, which is the team name he plays for in a game called Blitzball. Blitzball is just I know not to I love it, but I have to use a term for um from a family friend where they said it was just you know it's just water polo underwater, and you know be fair. Um, but yeah, Titus starts off kind of really arrogant, but he gets better over time. So, or I would assume so. I don't know. I don't again I don't pretend to understand the story. Um, and then Yuna on the right, she doesn't start off with that costume, but she's also the main character of these or or one of the other main character in Final Fantasy X, the first one. She's the daughter of Summoner Braska, like a hero from the previous from the previous campaign that the people launched to defeat Sin. Sin is a creature that decimates populations, and it can only be and can be defeated, but eventually returns. Unfortunately, so Yuna becomes a summoner as well, like her father, and starts the journey to obtain the final Aeon. Um, the other main characters in the game are Waka. He's captain of the Besaid Aurochs. He's he um he looks at Titus, and Titus looks like his deceased brother Chapu. So he's more endeared to him. Um, and same thing. And Waka grew up with Yuna and Lulu on the island. Almost the same thing. Lulu initially distrusts Titus because she was engaged to Chapu, but Chapu died, and so she distrusts Titus because Titus looks like Chapu, and she grew up with Yuna and Waka as well. Um, Another main character, the I think it's kind of funny. I always thought this was a Bioware thing, but I think it's general in most RPGs where it's like you get so many of the party members early. Like if you were thought about like Knights of the Old Republic, you literally get everybody like on the first planet, um and then there's like three characters you eventually get later. So I think that's kind of funny. But the next character is Kamari. He's a Ronzo. These um uh like kind of like lion or blue lion people, and he guards over Yuna at the request of a dead man. So it's I think they didn't. I feel like they didn't give Kamari enough character development to be like you walked away from the story and be like, okay, I understand Kamari's deal. So I think um, they should have developed him more as a character. Um, Orin, you initially meet Orin very early in the story. He watches over Titus at the request of his father Jet, and Titus does not really like his father, and that's something I related to that or to as well, because Titus did not have the best relationship with his father. So that was another like not to just joke around, but I feel like Final Fantasy X was almost tailor made. But yeah, Orin is another principal main character. The last main character is Riku, and no, not the Riku from Kingdom Hearts. Where when I watched my brother recently beat Kingdom Hearts 1 for the first time, right? And I'm going like, I feel like Riku had no concrete motivation to be a villain. Like, I even said, jokingly, like, Sasuke in Naruto has reason to be a jerk, or he had to have purpose because his family was, or his family is purported to be, outcast by, the Leaf Village or whatever. So that's his beef. And kind of almost the same thing with Vegeta. Vegeta has purpose. Not okay. Never mind. That's flimsy for Vegeta, but both of them, I would say they have purpose. Riku from Kingdom Hearts does not have purpose, so I think Riku's poor. Riku from Final Fantasy X. I'm sorry for all the Riku fans out there. Or Riku Kingdom Hearts, not Riku Final Fantasy X. Riku for Final Fantasy X is an Albed. They are people that have come up with most of the machine innovations in the world of Spira. Unfortunately, they are ostracized or scapegoated because um when there was a height of technology, Sin destroyed that. So Sin, as Waka puts it, is there to destroy technology and return the world to a natural state. So when eventually, so Waka doesn't know Riku at first is Al Bhed, so he doesn't initially really distrust her, but eventually, I would say finds out. I don't know. Um, when Riku finally joins up with the party, she is trying to remove summoners because she knows what happens after they obtain the final Aeon. So, um, and that's all the main things I was going to say. Um, because again, besides, just I know we didn't talk about Final Fantasy X too much, but it's hard to talk about like a favorite game. Um, I would say there are three probably notable things that I can say after after the fact. And thank you everybody for stopping by, especially Fire. I think this is your first time in the stream. Thank you as well for Shrimpy, and thank you as well Shin because again, Final Fantasy X is one of my favorite games, and I it means a lot to me. Um, I would say three notable things about Final Fantasy X. It's one of the few video games that starts off in media res. In media res is a literary term for something that starts like kind of in the middle, and then the rest is told through flashbacks and all that. So, um, it's great that it's like that that you can apply a literary term to a game and it makes a game it could be postulated as art and you know kind of go from there. um I think Final Fantasy X has great music if you ever had a chance to listen to it. I would say it's probably not for some of the for depressed people because it's kind of atmospheric and all that. So um Wandering Flame is like a kind of slow moving song. It has like a clarinet and it will play every now and then. Our Wandering Flame is also really great because when there's like a big plot point about the drop, or in the process of being explained, that song will usually be there. There's a song called Spirit Unplugged, if you can find that. Besides the Besaid village where the Besaid Orogs are, um, it's a really great like island tune. It's like I don't know if I don't think there's ukulele, but I think there's like two Spanish guitar duet, and it sounds really nice and relaxing. Um, To Xanarkand is the like main theme of the game. The first song you'll hear when you boot up Final Fantasy X. I think it's fantastic. It's not one of my favorite. I think Spirit Unplugged and Wandering Flame are more of my favorites, and especially going down or talking about the list. Uh, you know, it's not up there for my favorites. It's good, but it's not one of my favorites. There's a song called "Hurry." It only plays in like this very start of the game. Same thing with Titus's theme. Titus's theme is amazing. Same thing with Eunice's theme as well. They're very they use a lot of instruments too. Titus's theme will have like I think a harpsichord and a harmonica, so it's very different tonally. But and with Eunice's theme, I think they kind of use the harmonica again, but I can't exactly remember. Um, Basically, what I was gonna say, I bought Titus's theme, the song of "This Is Your Story." If you listen to "This Is Your Story," it's really impactful. It sounds like a song from a Studio Ghibli movie. Um, like Totoro or Howl's Moving Castle. Um, And gosh, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Hurry's only initially in the game. It's great, but unfortunately, it's only initially the game. Same thing with Titus, the same, and possibly Unisim. I don't know. Challenge. There's a song called Challenge, and it's really intense. It will usually only play when there's like a super crazy boss fight about to happen, like like at near the end of the game, and there's a song called The Truth Reveal when it's like there's a song called The Truth Revealed when again there's like two really important things near the end of the game, or not, well, kind of in the middle of or in the game, more like 65% or 70% if I could, wager a guess. Um, the ending thing for the game is really nice too, because it has a lot of bitter elements, but also it makes the better parts light up more. Um, and the last thing I was going to say, or sorry, the last notable thing I was going to say, besides, I'll say the last song I really appreciate is called "A Fleeting Dream." If you have a chance to listen to it, and I will say it's a really great piece of music. It will start off with an oboe, and that's where I feel like oboe has this really like it's almost non-describable. It has this like it's like a higher pitched like better pitched clarinet, and it's a double reed instrument, but it plays at the start of the song, and you need to listen to the old version too, because that's what I was gonna say as the third notable thing as well. Is this is the first Final Fantasy to have voice acting, so that's kind of something where it's good and bad, because people will give it guff for Titus laughing and all that, but also it's the first time, so it's kind of more real. It has more magic to it, kind of like almost with gosh, I can't think of another game where there's significant voice acting and a lot of times it's bad, but again, but yeah, it's more real when it's the first time. For the HD version, there are some songs or versions of songs that are good, and I like the change, but it's almost, and this is kind of a weird thing to say, but it's almost too rehearsed, so you don't hear you kind of lose some of the magic when it's practiced too much. Um, but yeah, the Fleeting Dream, it starts off with the oboe, and when you hear the HD version, it's too clean, and when you hear the old version, it's there. You hear it more. It's more impactful, and I'm not saying that the new version is bad. I'm just saying that there are some noticeable differences, and you can notice them if you. I know it's like not a lot of people are going to do that, but if you listen between both versions, there's some nice notable things. Like I really like the HD version of Spira Unplugged, because they start off things differently with a song with this double Spanish guitar. So um, and that's all I can say about Final Fantasy X. Again, it's important to me, and the funny thing is, I didn't play it initially when it came out. I played it probably um, maybe about 5 years after, and I really enjoyed the game. Especially, I forgot to say that one of the cool things is summons. Summons are something that Yuna does, and summons are kind of a consistent thing in all Final Fantasies. But summons, there is like the samurai one that you can unlock. It's a secret one. It's called Yojimbo. That one's pretty rad. And Anima. Anima is like this crazy fish monster thing, and it does a lot of damage. There's another thing which I kind of prefer the term overdrive because the usual term for in Final Fantasy limit break, but I just like overdrive. Um, but overdrive is like a super that you get from taking a lot of damage or dealing damage, and the summons can do that as well. Or summons are called aeons in this game. So uh, once you summon an aeon, um, you can have it do crazy attacks, but also it has an overdrive, which will have a unique attack only done by itself. Unfortunately, Yojimbo's like mechanics, you can't like do something with the overdrive. But with Anima is probably if you watch anything about Final Fantasy X, that's the one thing that you should watch. Or that's the one thing you should watch. I should say Fleeting Dream original. That's the one thing you should hear from Final Fantasy X. Um, but anyway, thank you everybody for dropping by or for jumping in. And thank you Shin for dropping 2 subs or giving 2 subs. I really appreciate it. I'm really sorry. It's like I can't financially support you guys not yet because I'm so close to getting a webcam. So I want to integrate that webcam into the format of the stream. And also because if anybody redeems that channel points for dance, um, and I want to have that webcam available so we can have a dancing party type thing. If somebody redeems it, I don't think I'll I'll count it, and then whenever I get the webcam, we'll do that one day, or we'll set that up one day. So anyway, thank you everybody for jumping in. I appreciate it. And thank you again, Shin, for subbing and gift subbing to Fire. I am Rio Zero, your host, signing off.